Shanti, everyone. Greetings to all of you. Special greetings to those of you here with me live. Always great to see you and hear from you. And also warm greetings. I know many of you watch later on and then you come and tell me about it. So it's good to know that you are watching and you are tuning in and you're with us subtly, even if it's subsequently. So you'll recall that we've had a couple of months around the moralities on controlling the mind, ruling the mind, becoming a self-sovereign. And Shibaba was saying to us that this was Brahma Baba's first effort. He was, even before Shibaba began the moralities, maybe he was inspiring Brahma Baba, or maybe it was just something inside of Brahma Baba. And Brahma Baba had begun writing to his own mind, even though he had Bhakti knowledge at that time. But he was working to discipline his mind. And you'll recall there was that extract that Baba said to share with everyone from Brahma Baba's diary of 1932, where he's talking to his mind. Now, of course, we got much better understanding because we have many more links. But what Baba explains to us, ultimately, the foundation of everything is the mind. If you don't control your thoughts, you don't change the pattern of thinking, nothing else is going to change. And then the other part of the mind is your feelings. And if we don't change our thoughts and our feelings, sanskars are very far away. Like, they're not going to change it. And Ranjabin and I were watching Sister Mahini's Bhog message yesterday, the Bhog message that she brought on Thursday evening. We were watching it yesterday. And it was a very beautiful message. And it was something I could really resonate with. I've shared it with you many times. That what Baba was saying is that the outside world is going to respond to your inside vibrations. And whatever is going on, if you're struggling in your life, there's something inside of you that's like pulling that energy. And Baba doesn't want the children laboring anymore. This is why he's saying, change your inside energy, change your inside atmosphere. Daddy Janki used to say that we have to make our mind into Baba's room. So you wouldn't make a Baba's room that's untidy, unclean, full of items. We make our Baba's rooms, it's like even temples and mosques and things. We wouldn't create anything like that where we have a mixed atmosphere. We want the best atmosphere. The nicest place I visited when we were in Chicago was they have a Baha'i temple there. It's really something. If you ever visit Chicago, they built it in 1920s, 30s, and 40s because the son of Baha'u'llah, the founder of that sect, he went to Chicago actually, and Chicago is one of the bases or the pilgrimage places of that religion. So again, even there, you go in, you can see the peacefulness and the cleanliness. So Baba is asking us, is your mind like this? You might remember the previous Thursday, there was the image of the turbulent ocean and the very pleasant and still ocean. And Baba is saying, is your mind like this stormy ocean? Or is your mind like this nice place where even families can visit and enjoy the ocean side? So Baba is giving us all these different metaphors. And he's saying that if you don't change the atmosphere inside of yourself, your life is not going to change. It's just not how this works. But in Bhakti, we change everything on the outside, right? We want nice house, nice environment. And I would say the last 30, 40 years, it's become very popular to think about energy in your house. The Chinese philosophy of feng shui has become very popular in places like the UK and US and things. And the equivalent in India is Vastu, it's called. So they sort of think that every placement of everything has a particular energy. So Baba's saying, okay, fine. What's going on inside of you? And so that's also an energy. And that's also going to bring in energy into your life. But what we get is people just make a nice house, and inside their mind is chaotic. So Baba is saying to us, children, you got to look inside. What's going on? What's your relationship with your mind? And the mind means the thoughts and the feelings. So the mind and the heart, that's combined. In, when you use the word man in Hindi, it means you can use it to mean heart and you can use it to mean thoughts. So Baba is saying, what's going on there in the mind? And then Baba gives knowledge into our intellect. And he also tells us we got mixed sanskars. We got our original sanskars, which are very pure, very powerful, very divine. You're a deity, you're an angel. But they have been buried. Baba says you got buried in the graveyard. He uses all these words from the Holy Quran, like Qabristan. You got buried in the graveyard. And he says that now you got to go to Paristan. You've got to go to the land of the fairies, the angels. So he's saying, look, your sanskars have got buried because you created all these mixed sanskars of body consciousness. So you got original sanskars and you got acquired sanskars. You got many traumas, many memories, many bad experiences. And then you've been also using devices a lot. So you created some scars of body consciousness. So what the problem we have is in our consciousness, no one is in the same direction. The mind is running in one way, and the mind always wants to please everyone. So the mind is trying to please other people. The mind is trying to please the sense organs. The mind is trying to please our own sanskars. The mind is trying to please our own heart. The mind is just running around, trying to please everyone and achieving nothing ultimately, achieving dissatisfaction. Because the logic has been, I please everyone, I'll be satisfied. But in fact, I run around pleasing everyone. No one is satisfied and I'm not satisfied. And the intellect has just become very tired, trying to control everything inside and losing control of everything. So Baba says, I now give knowledge to the intellect, and you have to now focus your mind and intellect on Shababa to gain power. Because if you don't have power, you control nothing. So he's getting us to recreate a relationship inside ourselves where it's like a peaceful kingdom. And Baba says, until you Brahmins change, Golden Age is not coming. He's not sending us to the Golden Age with a chaotic mind. That would be madness. We will turn the Golden Age into the Iron Age. So he's not sending us there. He's saying, I'm not sending you till you're ready. You got to get ready. You will stay in the Iron Age and the world will stay in the Iron Age until you are ready. So bit by bit, the Brahmins are getting ready, but Baba wants us to speed this readiness up. And what he says is you got to have liberation inside yourself. So firstly, we can begin by creating this new sense of relationship with our mind. We can't have everyone going in different directions. It just cannot carry on. So what happens? You listen to the Murli in the morning. We know what we want to, what we have got to do. Baba tells us that we know this. We want to do it, but the mind and the sanskars and the sense organs, they want to do something else. So what happens is everyone during the day, everyone is doing other things. And we're sitting there with the knowledge in our intellect or what we should be doing. And then later we check and we say, oh, I didn't do what I should have been doing. So we don't want to create cycles of this because otherwise, like we're 10 years of Brahmin, we know everything we should be doing. We're not doing any of it. And so externally, we can be very good Brahmin. Inside, we haven't really changed. And this can create disheartenment. You know, this is really what creates disheartenment. And my experience has been that when BKs leave Baba's knowledge, usually it's between 8 years and 15 years with Baba, usually. And it's because they're reaching a point, either they've, oh, I haven't really changed, you know, it's not really working, I can't really do it like this. Or they sort of thought it might be easier, like they thought they could avoid the inner work, you know, like you can just be a good external BK, good server. You can get many plaudits from the Brahmin family. But if we don't change inside, we will never be truly satisfied, you know, we'll never really be happy. So we don't want to pretend to ourselves. So what happens is Brahmins then think, let me just leave because I'm not really doing it inside. So it's a form of disheartenment as well. And so in this way, Baba is saying to us that children, we have to think about ourselves, what's going on inside. You won't be able to run because ultimately, even your body will leave, but you will still be with your mind. Right? Even the body is gone. The body is your closest companion, but even the body goes, your mind is still talking to you. So you cannot ignore this relationship. You're going to have to develop this dialogue. So there are many morals about this, and Brahma Baba was very successful with this. So today in this workshop, we are going to spend some minutes just writing to our mind. I made this effort for at least 10, 12 years. So I started, we heard this morally from 1999, so I started then. And I probably did it to about 2012, maybe something like that. And so I can give you that testimony that it did work like that. As I've shared with you now I'm sort of in that space where the mind is behaving better. And there's like a healing that's happened inside. I've also shared with you how now, like my power of thought seems to be more effective with achieving things. So I can testify to all of you that these things do work, that if we just keep with it. And then now I can see how my thoughts can even bring success. So what Baba was saying in the bold message was that you won't need to labor after a while because just your energy will bring the good luck into your life and things will just come. Everything you need will just come. So my experience over, like I made this effort, I said, until about 2012. And then I've shared with you, it's been about like 10 years where I had very good success. Like I make a plan, I have a thought, and somehow that thought then seems to come up in the drama. Maybe I have to wait a few years. But even like the job I have, everything, like circumstance, everything on a practical level as well. This traveling, these classes, these all started with the power of thought. So, it does work. It's not like just nice to listen, like nice to hear. But I can testify that if you focus on changing pattern of thinking, feelings, attitudes, and sanskars, then just naturally things just can happen very easily. But my experience is attitudes and sanskars are much deeper. They're like ingrained. They don't change until thoughts and feelings have changed. Feelings don't change until thoughts change. So we got to start with our thinking. Salavan, you wanted to come in with something?
Yes. Yes, Om Shanti, my brother. My sister Ambika. Yes, I was just intrigued about Papa says when we die, the world is dead for us. And I understand that when I leave, I, the soul, when I will leave this body, my mind I will shut down. I won't be able to use my mind. But I have just, what I understood from you is that even if the body like dies, we will still have a relationship with the mind, but the mind will shut down, no? It will.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. But what Baba explains to us is the soul is the mind, intellect, and sanskars. And so when a soul leaves one body, they immediately go straight into the next fetus. So what is happening is even he calls it the jail of the womb. So what will happen is you don't your mind is with you, the body is gone, but you're still carrying with you. So what Baba is saying is we never really change for all these lives. We might have our external circumstance change. Inside we didn't change. So what he's saying to us now, you don't want this. You're just going round and round. What you want is you actually change your mind while you are living. Then then he says to us, your final thoughts leads you to your destination. So now we want to, like Brahma Baba became angel. He didn't just go round and round. So we want to create this relationship with the mind, because that mind will shape also our future. And so, yeah, so this is the point that people generally, they're not really wanting to change inside. And sanskars have to change our future. But sanskars won't change until the mind changes. So this is why the mind is the foundation for everything else. So Baba is saying that, well, how did you even create the sanskars? You must have begun thinking in a certain way. You must have begun feeling in a certain way. You must have begun a pattern in a certain way. It then became a sanskar. You then performed an action, it became a sanskar. So if you don't get control of the mind, nothing else will change. So this is does that answer the question?
Yes, yes, yes. So actually, it means that when I will leave this body, I will still have a relationship with my mind, but in another context, but it's still the same mind, actually. This is what you say.
Right. Still the same mind, still the same intellect, still the same sanskar.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this relationship will never stop.
No. Yeah, one thing I realized some years back is when we think about karmic accounts, we are usually always thinking outside. But brothers and sisters, I'm pretty sure we got karmic accounts inside. And there's karmic account with our own mind. There's karmic account between mind and intellect. Karmic account between mind and sanskars. It's very subtle. So you see, like it can be, this is why those karmic accounts, very difficult to change. And very, very subtle, like Baba is saying in the message, your inner vibration, it affects the outside. So say, let's take example. If I got a karmic account where inside I'm not listening to my own sense, let's say. I'm ignoring my conscience, I'm like suppressing my conscience like that. Outside in my personal life, other people will ignore me when I speak sense. Like very, very subtle. I am ignoring my sense. And then, because people are usually very good at giving advice, not good following their own advice. Everyone in the world, expert in giving you advice. They themselves don't do it. And then they say, oh, I don't know why no one is listening to me. Because you yourself are not doing. And it's a karmic account. So what happens is the way in which we are creating our relations inside ourselves, it will create a dynamic in our relationships with other people. So let's say inside, you are trying to suppress your thoughts, suppress your feelings like this. Someone in your life will suppress you. It's very, very subtle, but I'm convinced that its internal karmic accounts create the external karmic accounts. And this is why Baba, he gets us to change inside.
What is the karmic account between the intellect and the mind? How will
No.
be in harmony in this karma?
Right. So this workshop is like a start. And through these workshops and through your own practices, so like I say, I've done this for many years. So as I've been doing this, I will write the letter every day for 12 years, right? Or even more than one for 12 years, right? So I gone into a lot of detail. So my experience is every soul, different karmic accounts between mind and intellect. So like I mentioned, intellect can sometimes be quite suppressive, like oppressive, because intellect is got ego, like want to have good face. So intellect just want, like outside, everyone think I'm very good. And inside, my heart is screaming, oh, what about my feelings? What about? And intellect shutting down feelings, shutting down conscience, But how long can we suppress? So it will come out as mental illnesses. It will come out as physical illness. What is going on inside? It will affect everything.
What we call psychosomatic diseases.
Yeah, but it's very subtle dynamics going on in the consciousness as well. So because we don't think about these relationships. And then also sanskars. So mainly sanskars are like addict. And sanskar just want mind to fulfill. Oh, give me love, give me respect, give me comfort, give me belonging. Go mind, go and get me this. So the mind is just running around, just running around, trying to make everyone happy, not making anything happy. And so in this way, Baba says now, manmanaba, let Baba nurture the mind. And so this is what Baba is recreating inside of us, that what is the relationship going on? So even you look at our society, I look at the news, for example, I see sanskars. And what I see in the stories, I look inside and I think, oh, do I have this dynamic going on inside? For example, we have many like problems of domestic violence in the household or this. Now, is there such anger between my mind intellect sanskars inside of me? Maybe they're abusing each other inside of me. This is why it is happening outside. Because Baba is telling us, isn't he, that in the golden age, everyone has golden vessel. If you think about it, Baba tells us in golden age, not even one accident will happen. And if you think of what that means, every soul does not have accident inside. Because if there's accident inside, it will send vibration, create accident outside, right? Iron Age, chaos. Chaos inside, chaos outside. Corruption, big one. But inside, a lot of corruption. Corruption is selfishness, right? So I think that it's this very subtle karmic account, and the only way to unpick to know myself is this letter, right? Because what we got to do is we'll take some points, like can be from the moralies of this week or any moralies. You all got a lot of knowledge. But Daddy used to say, we've got to teach the knowledge to our mind. And Brahma Baba talks about this in the moralies, that we've got to teach our mind how to praise Sri Baba, how to remember Baba, like this. So awareness is basically, it's like an exercise for the mind, right? And if we don't practice this awareness, the mind is just very lazy. So it will just use old sanskar, old patterns. So the default for the mind, be wasteful, heavy, lazy, and just running around. But we got to create new exercise program for the mind. So Daddy used to say, be a good mother for your mind. We haven't been. So now mother must give good nourishment, good guidance, good exercise. The very good mothers, like they plan everything for their children, like very, very detailed. And they know that when the child is young, they must have all of these guidances because otherwise bad habits will form. So Baba is saying now, the mind already has all the bad habits. So now you're going to have to work with your mind to go against the bad habits and teach new good habits. So for example, this week's Moralies has been about karmic accounts with love. So you can all churn on this more. My experience is when the sanskars are just the essence of the sanskars is love. That you strip away everything, all the other sanskars, all the virtues, everything. The core of the sanskar is love. You are just pure love. The core of the intellect is truth. Strip everything away, it's just truth. And the mind in the natural state is powerful. It's powerful. So in my experience, this is the original state that Baba says you got to go back in the same stage that you came down. So when you came down, your intellect was full truth, your sanskars full love, pure, very pure love. Baba says the deities are oceans of love. And the mind was very powerful, Master Almighty Authority. And now, end of the Iron Age, opposite, right? Complete opposite. So the mind is very weak. The intellect is very confused. And the samskars are very mixed and very selfish. So Baba is now taking us from Tamapradhan to Satapradhan. Tamapradhan means the opposite of the original state. So Baba is saying, now you got to go back there. But you can't, not in just in the Golden Age, you have to return now back in the stage that you came down. So what we got to do is the first step, develop the relationship with the mind. Baba filled the intellect with knowledge. But the relationship between intellect and mind is broken. Mind does not trust the intellect. The mind has not been listening to the intellect for centuries. So you just because you got knowledge, Baba says, don't just keep it in your locker. You just got knowledge. For many births, you had knowledge. There have been many good things in Bhakti as well, but we didn't practice it. Most devotees don't live what they know. So now the relationship it's created is like there's a hypocrisy. So the mind does not trust the intellect because the mind, in my experience, the mind thinks the intellect is a hypocrite. And the intellect does not respect the mind because it just sees the mind as trying to please everyone. So in my experience, it's like the mind, intellect, sanskars is like have their own personality. And it will be different for every soul. So you have to do it yourself. No one can do for you. But Baba is with you. So this is the difference now. Baba is your companion. So you're not doing it alone. So let's spend a few minutes now, maybe 10 minutes. And you can just take some of the points. This week was about name and form, wasn't it? He calls it the illness of name and form. And but there's different points like this. It's been mainly this karmic account with love. So we created so many sanskars of body consciousness connected with love, getting love and giving love. So you got to teach your mind how to love properly. Baba says, love the soul, be so conscious, love Baba. So in this way, you can talk to your mind about this. And then also your mind will also be affected because you're not getting love maybe that you expect. Baba was saying this morning that the Brahmin family will also be like a form of dharamraj sometimes because now you're at end of the cycle. You have to clear all the accounts. Baba says, Gayamat ka samay hai, time of settlement. So you whether it's BK, whether it's family member, whether it's colleague, they are just instrument. Like it not really, you don't even have to have karma with them. Someone walking down the road, anyone. It is your karma coming through them to you. Nothing to do with them. So this is what Baba means, that you will go to the center, suddenly someone is angry with you, and you did nothing. You did nothing with them. Because not really anything to do with them, your karma coming through them. They're just instrument. So mainly the karma comes with who we are living with. This is why Baba is saying if you're living in the center, it will be mainly just BK. If you're living with your family, mainly it'll be your family, like that. So you will be clearing the account. So explain to your mind why it's not getting the love. It's end of the Iron Age, end of Confluence Age as well, time to go home. So the only place your mind will get love is Shiv Baba. It must not look outside. It must not go into the tree. It must now take from the seed. But this will be very odd for the mind because for centuries, you have not been telling the mind this. You've been telling the mind, let's get attached to everyone. Let's get attached to everything. You've been using attachments and lust and greed to get the love. So now you are educating the mind. Let's do something different. So spend a few minutes in some silence. I won't put on music because it can sound very mixed on Zoom. But if you want to on your side, you can do that. And then reconvene in a few minutes and you can share your experience. So for those of you watching the recording later on, I'm just going to pause the recording so you don't have long silence in the video, but you can just give yourself time for as long as you need. Gently. So you might not have totally finished your letter if you're here with us live, but hopefully you've made a good start and something you can carry on working with. I found a lot of benefit, and I mean, it's not that I don't use this method now, I would still, but I would encourage you all to carry on. And some of the letters can be letters to Baba, which I'm sure you're more focused on. But what's quite an interesting one is you could write a letter to your mind about what Baba has said we've got to do in the morning. And so you could listen to the Morley in the morning, revise your notes, and then use one or two of those points from your notes to then write to your mind what we've got to do today, what we've got to focus on today. And that can be good. Then you could even write to Baba, asking him to help focus the mind. Tell him this is what you wrote to your mind. And it has a very interesting dynamic when you do that. It's like your mind wakes up to Baba being there. Now, even though we know that Baba is with us, my experience has been not all parts of our consciousness are equally conscious. Like our parts of our consciousness are still asleep, even if part of us is awake. And so the more that we are giving the message to our mind that, oh, look, I'm writing to Baba. Baba knows I told you. And Brahma Baba in his day in 1932 didn't know Shivada, so he wasn't able to write in that one. But we don't need to do things on our own. Like it's not us changing us. It's very much us having the relationship with Baba and then Baba changing us. So we want to involve Baba in everything. So I wonder if any of you who are here with me live wanted to share anything or say anything.
So I want to share with you the conversation.
Great.
So it is between the intellect and the mind. So the intellect starts, he says, hey, come with me. I need you to take me to another place. And mind says, why? And he answers, intellect answers, because I see that you are agitated, you are weak, you take sorrow easily, rapidly, you get angry rapidly, you get scared rapidly. And the mind answers, how can I help you if I am weak? The intellect says, please trust me because you have huge capacities. And together you can make these capacities a new reality for you. And he said, and you will benefit from this journey of me and you. The soul. It is the soul who will benefit. We are serving the soul. And when we serve the soul, we are serving ourselves. And we are serving the world. There is only benefit. And the mind says the benefit is general then. And the intellect says yes. Baba said that. He said that this is the time of benefits. So I will ask Baba to help you. The mind says, but I have to know Baba first. The intellect says, he is a notion of peace, of true knowledge, and the notion of love. And he colors whoever comes close to him. So just let us go.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. You really took me into you have this same sort of internal tone as Brahma Baba's conversation. So you took me right into, like I was listening to Brahma Baba's dialogue. So very, very beautiful. It was, back in the day when you listen to the different saints and they have that sort of conversation, it's that sort of tone. You've got to, like, they're very deeply, like they're seekers and there's a deep spirituality. And so you really gave a perfect example of what I would want everyone to know, that's the sort of thing. Brilliant. Thank you. Would anyone else like to share?
Shanti, that was very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. Appreciate that. What I was thinking in my mind, no matter what we do in the mind, with a pure mind and a pure heart, I was thinking we still aggravate others because their intellect and their minds are so different to ours. And you're thinking in your mind that you're putting out or you're giving pure thoughts or pure suggestions to others, but it doesn't work the same way, and there is agitation in there. Now, my focus and the way I look at it is to just love everybody because we are here to serve others in a loving way. Whoever comes into our lives, they're there for a purpose. They're there for either us to serve them or for us to learn from them, to learn the lessons in life. So I am thinking in my mind, my focus is to serve with love, and not let the other person aggravate me in any way at all. Just understand that's their part, their karma. My karma is mine. And whatever aggravation comes, to just back off, to stay away. But when doing that, sometimes you cause a disturbance. And that is what my mind doesn't understand too well. Om Shanti.
I think you're right. It's this thing of, I think there's an inevitability that we're going to misunderstand each other. Sister Mahini was saying last week in one of her talks that we all know that we got different roles in the drama. So that implies we all got different sanskars. So it's just not going to be possible for us all to interpret in the same way. It just cannot happen. And as you're saying, at the end of the cycle, people don't have the power to accommodate or tolerate. So it's our job to be able to do that. But I think there's also always going to be margin. Baba talks about Brahma Baba and how so many people disliked him, had different feelings towards him. So I just think there's an inevitability that there will be always some percentage. Baba says 95% should be content with you, because there's this 5% that maybe they will just misunderstand you, or there could be a karmic account there or something. So I think it's okay. I can, but it's good that you're explaining to your mind these things, because like you say, the mind might not understand what's going on. So we then can take sorrow from these things. Ambika, then you wanted to come in?
Yeah, well, I guess it's the intellect. I was just questioning the mind, and I was asking the mind, how do you love? And the answer came as, all our souls, and see the soul. And I was telling the mind, Baba gives unlimited love. And why don't I receive that unlimited love? And it's just to receive that love. And I'm asking the mind, oh mind, what do you see? Does it bring benefit? Because the mind is always outwards, whatever catches the eye. And I'm asking, what do you see? And why do you go there? Asking the mind that. Basically, it's just questioning the mind and getting back to the refocus of power being unlimited. not in all the virtues. So is the mind controlling this conversation with the mind? It's just those things I jot down. This conversation with the mind to bring the mind back, to center the mind, to try and not have it scattered and all over. What I need to look at, and even if I'm looking outwards, question the mind: what is the benefit? What is the benefit that I am receiving? And really refocusing. I didn't write that down, but really refocusing. Even when I look outwards and I see something, how do I interpret it? How do I bring that in? So, and what I'm thinking that this does for me is allowing the intellect to become a bit stronger with more controlling power. Controlling power. Shanti. I don't know if that was helpful, but that's what came to me.
So I think it's another good example because, as you're saying, it is this inner dialogue that we are going to need to maintain through the day as well. And what you were homing in on is this thing about outlook. And as you say, it's actually the intellect and the power of knowledge that has to change outlook. My experience is power of knowledge changes outlook and thoughts, but it's yoga that can change feelings. And so initially, as you're saying, it's got to be you're using your knowledge to guide the mind, to be able to listen to where the mind is, because it's the two together, the mind and the intellect, that create outlook, interpretation. And it's very, very subtle things like interpreting, like you said, how are you interpreting this? It's a very subtle thing to pick up on, and it's something we often don't even question ourselves. We can assume that our interpretation is just the correct one. But actually examining ourselves, how are you interpreting? That's linked with outlook. So thanks very much. Another great point. Would anyone else like to share anything? Okay. So I would recommend, if you get time to carry on, if you started a letter and you need to finish it, you could finish it. And then you could do a combination of things during the week, like you could write a letter at some point in the week to Baba. That could be quite nice. And sometimes you could just write to Baba what's going on in your mind. That you're, as a detached observer, you're looking to see what's going on in your mind, and you're sharing that with Baba, and you're taking Baba's help within that. Sometimes you might have a question, and Baba says, write to Baba, and then in the next day, in the morning, you'll get the answer. And it will spring out at you. You'll have a realization. So in this way, it's worth just writing what's going on sometimes inside. The role of the seat of the detached observer is very important. And this process of letter writing seems to reinforce this seat of the detached observer, because you're being very introspective, but you're also looking to see, like this point say about interpretation. How am I interpreting? How am I taking something? How am I looking at something? How is the dynamic working here inside the mind, the intellect, and the sanskars? And then at the moment, we're just sitting in a class, but obviously the observation when you're in interaction with people is very important. So you'll find that where you got a karmic account, like then you might have someone, you really want to please them. So with that person, you're just telling them what they want to hear, and then afterwards you're catching it. Why? Because you got a karmic account, you got the sanskar, you want to please. So these are things important to catch. And then someone else, you don't like them. And maybe it's not like very heavy, you don't like them, but just subtly you're observing there's a difference, the way you behave with this one and the way you behave with them. These are very important things to observe, and we can change and adjust ourselves accordingly. So I would recommend that. And I'd like to just invite Ranjan Ben to close today's gathering with some of that things.
Shanti. Yes, I've been listening to the classes, about, Dadi Shanti took up others as well. And like Salva said about intellect and mind and but Daddy explained nicely, his mind also wants to think about just the good things, Baba Srimad, follow Srimad and go accordingly. But, it gets past thoughts and things. But intellect also wants to cooperate and wants to get on with having, joining Baba's knowledge, following Baba Srimad. But like Daddy said, that it's the Chit, subconscious mind, keeps on bringing.
Yeah, just a minute. I'm going to have to leave the meeting right now. So just 1 minute. Okay.
So like Daddy explained that is the past things keep on pulling the intellect. We want to forget the past and just move on and join Baba's knowledge, be with Baba. But so so Daddy said that, and Baba says to put a full stop of drama. You see, although we put a full stop, we say, oh, it's drama. But Baba says, no, with that, you should say that the drama is beneficial. And to put a full stop, we put a full stop, and then again something comes and we think of, and we again put a full stop, And so Daddy was saying, although you put a full stop, you make it bigger and bigger and bigger rather than just put a full stop. Like Baba says, even a blind person, few weeks ago, Baba said in the Murli, blind person also can put a full stop because it's just the tip of a pen. So your full stop should be so small, like pinpoint. And then you should be able to have control, ruling controlling power over your mind and intellect. And they should be also so good as to cooperate with you, like they are your ministers. It's like a parliament. Yeah. I, the soul, am, like said, you all are, self-sovereign. So seated on my throne, I'm a king and I'm asking my, Baba uses the word ordering, but guiding, giving directions to my mind and intellect, which are my ministers who are looking after the sense organs, like eyes, nose, mouth, ears. Because if you see something or if you hear something, then it comes into your mind and you start to think, and then, intellect is trying to warn the mind, but like Shalabai said, it just doesn't respect each other. And then, because then the subconscious mind is pulling the intellect that, reminding of the past, or so and so did this, that. But Baba says, put a full stop to the past and then, think of your future. You keep moving. Like today also, Baba said, keep on making your progress. But unless we have totally pure thoughts and harmony of mind, intellect, and mind and intellect obey the king, I, the self, the soul, who is the master. And then all the sense organs also obey mind and intellect who are guiding them. Only then the sanskars will change. But for that, Baba says, put a full stop. Like, I am the soul, obedient soul. Have a self-respect, Baba's title. I'm Master Almighty. My Father is Almighty. And and the drama is very beneficial. And then don't take the rein in your hands, and then but with that, you have to have lots and lots of pure thoughts. That is Murli Baba gives us and nothing else. So only then the purity, there's a lack of purity. If there's a total purity, like Daddy is, and that you won't have any other thoughts. And that's why Baba is always, every day is working so hard on us, giving us our results as well, especially in the Vogue messages. There are still some children fluctuate. They have so many waste thoughts. So Daddy was just saying basically, so once one sister asked Daddy, you see so many come with their problems, sickness, negativity, everything. How do you, we try to put a full stop and count in our mind. But Daddy said, I never put a full stop. I just look at them as a soul, and my mind and intellect is with Baba, and I just move along with the drama, and I don't fluctuate. So that much. So Daddy's mind is famous for being so stable, and so it is that control and following Baba's. Baba reminded us in last week that you from Amrit Vela follow Baba's timetable throughout the day. So Amrit Vela at the morning to wake up with pure thought and be with Baba and have that good connection. Then that will help a lot as well. And then end your day giving Baba a true account of whatever weaknesses or whatever you did. And then go to sleep in Baba's lap with pure thoughts there, so that you can get up in the morning with those thoughts and just give any weakness or anything to Baba and become carefree, not careless, but carefree, and become Baba's obedient child. I think all that will help mind and intellect to get healthy. And there was a nice class about Mohini Ben. So I've asked Shailen, we'll get to that because it was a beautiful shigeo, that experience in Ahmedabad this time before going back to America. And there are others, but we will get to it, Shailen Bhai. And yesterday's message, Baba's message was that to create the atmosphere pure, keep on creating pure atmosphere around you. That was Mohini Ben's. The Rukmani Ben's message was in that Baba said, she heard this song, it's a 1950 film song. Oh God, look what how your world is what condition it has come to. And it's so sorrowful and so much lawlessness, and we see the situation outside. But Baba reminded that for you Brahmins, the song is Panata Sopali. I have achieved, I have found, I was looking for, that is, we have found Baba, Baba has found us, and we have achieved everything from Baba with all relationships. So Baba says, keep that song in front of you and don't fluctuate. So there's quite a lot, but he will, when he gets time, he's going to translate and send things to you. And as the time goes, there are a few things that will help us, few classes from one brother, Satish Bhai. But they are all in Hindi, that's why I listen. And if it was in English, we could send it to you straight. But we try and translate. But they are quite good. They have been practicing over a long time. And some of them have been with Baba, some with Dadis. And so we'll practice that and become equal to Baba. Om Shanti. So I'll say bye-bye, and because Shailen Bhai had to go. Thank you. Bye-bye, and welcome to all of those who are watching from home or wherever they are. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Shanti,
you.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
I'll end it now.
Santi, bye bye.